But up first, it's EJ Sparks.
This is the fastest hour in professional wrestling, and right now, it's bell time.
Introducing first, from Phoenix, Arizona, weighing in at 175 pounds, Phoenix's favorite son, EJ Sparks.
Set for action to kick things off this week on Championship Wrestling. We saw EJ Sparks last week in the main event. What a match with VSK. Got back to his winning ways, but as we'll talk about in a moment, that was only one part of the story in that main event and the close to last week's episode.
And introducing his opponent from New York City, weighing in at 210 pounds, Patrick Fitzpatrick.
As we touched on in the past, that 490 on the back of his gear, representing what he used to weigh in at, 490 pounds, Alyssa. Used to be a collegiate football player in a position where you might find a weight like, but even for an offensive lineman, that's enormous.
It certainly is. Organically, once he started wrestling, Patrick Fitzpatrick started to lose a bit of weight, but he was still wrestling for about, 11 years. He wrestled under the moniker of Fat Pat. But when he started losing more and more weight, he realized he didn't have to be any particular size to do what he loved to do.
Still a powerhouse, absolutely. Gonna offer a unique challenge to EJ Sparks, and Patrick Fitzpatrick has history on this program. He used to be a producer back in the day before heading back to New York, becoming an active competitor. But what I was going to touch on, EJ Sparks in the main event gets the big victory over VSK. But in the midst of all that, Blake, we had an absolute monster match, a clash of the Titans with Miguel and Watts that ended in an absolute shocking turn of events.
You know, that was a big deal, but I think the biggest thing to walk away from that is the the swagger EJ Sparks has in his step now. You can come out here and he looks good. He looks like he's coming off a win. And that big kick, he's setting the rhythm for the matchup.
Yeah, roundhouse rhythm perhaps. But again, to touch on Alyssa, you know, Watts had everything going his way. It was just absolute beating the living you-know-what out of Miguel the entire episode, outside, inside, and then apparently joins, here's a cover by Sparks, was handed the mask, and apparently has joined SoCal Distancing, making them more powerful than ever before. Backslide by EJ Sparks.
SoCal Distancing, such a dangerous factor throughout the United Wrestling Network, even getting more trepidation around the entire locker room, throughout the roster, as they are growing in numbers. Even the smallest addition to their crew is something scary. Who's next?
You got to wonder, what's the agenda for SoCal Distancing? We've seen them just causing havoc, but we don't know why.
Ooh. Look at Patrick Fitzpatrick go here, send in EJ Sparks. Yeah, we don't know what their agenda is. I mean, at one point they threw the PP3 Cup, the illustrious cup, in the Pacific Ocean. Who does that? Total disrespect.
Yeah, such disrespect, such an insult.
Cover by Fitzpatrick.
See, they're so smart and connected that they got to be up to something.
Jam-packed episode coming your way, including our main event. That anticipated rematch between Dan Joseph, the former, still getting used to that, former United Television champion, looking for revenge, looking to regain the gold against timeless Levi Shapiro. That to come in our main event, but right now we're seeing some of that power on display by Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick's doing a fantastic job of keeping the pressure on. As long as he's putting the pressure on EJ Sparks, it's going to be hard for EJ to create space and do a lot of his high-flying and spinning kick attacks.
Suplex, and that arm might have got trapped under there, Alyssa, it looked like.
It did look like that, Todd. And Fitzpatrick, you got to think, you were talking about him having a history of being a producer on the program, but he also has history here inside the ring. He recently faced Chris Dickinson in singles competition, a hard-fought battle. And you got to wonder if that frustration is now being put onto EJ Sparks in the center of this ring.
You got to be tough. You got to have that offensive lineman trench mentality, battle mentality to take on the likes of the Dirty Daddy, Chris Dickinson. And Fitzpatrick never backs down from a fight. Look at that nice leg trip. Thought it was going to be a drop down, but slides all the way through. Boy, that's the agility that he's gained since dropping a lot of that 490 pounds. Short drop kick into the cover, looking to put him away. Close call.
Very smart tactic by Patrick Fitzpatrick, but you can't discount EJ Sparks as a competitor. He's been on a tear through Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, facing VSK last week. The week before had a huge title opportunity for the Arizona State Championship against Ray Rosas. Now, EJ Sparks firing on all cylinders throughout the United Wrestling Network. He's got to shift the momentum here in this match.
Blake, your thoughts on just the no-nonsense power game of Patrick Fitzpatrick?
You know, he might have been, after that match against Dickinson, you know, he did land some stuff.
Oh, got rolled up, got caught there, went to the well one too many times, almost got put away.
He did land some stuff, but he might have learned, man, you got to come out and put it on your opponents, just like Dickinson does to people. You know, he's coming out here and bringing the violence to EJ Sparks.
Sparks starts to strike, just a phenomenal athlete, follows in again, does Fitzpatrick, uh-oh, look out here, stun gun. And if he immediately goes to the cover, huge upset victory here on Phoenix's favorite son. But so close, right? It doesn't cost any more. Try again.
Yeah,
That time he went and hooked the leg, though. He's really looking for that pin.
Smart to immediately capitalize because that stun gun really took all the air out of the sails, the wind out of the sails of EJ Sparks. And now, a follow-up choke here, Blake.
Yeah, he's got that under the chin, too, which is what you really want to look for when you're starting to try and choke guys. I'd like to see EJ try and create a little distance here.
Yeah, we've seen it. He needs to have. Oh, there's that question mark kick. Wow.
Right there, he slapped that off, broke the chain, landed that big shot to the head.
Misdirection play. That kick just comes down. So much force. EJ's got a second win right back in the sails now, and he's smooth sailing, maybe on his way to victory here in this opening contest. What a way to kick things off. Very competitive matchup between EJ and Fitzpatrick. Takes him down.
So much speed, so much agility from both competitors in the ring, and now EJ Sparks looking for the cover. Is this going to be it for EJ Sparks? No.
EJ Sparks is displaying how dangerous he is when he's at striking range. He's got to keep the fight here. He cannot let Fitzpatrick continue to pressure him in and get a hold of him.
You talked about it, Blake. That distance that you talked about has been just what the doctor ordered for EJ Sparks to snap off a question mark kick. Now that short super kick.
Oh.
Nobody home for the roundhouse rhythm. Who's going to get the best out of the scramble? Oh, we've seen it now. The spark out.
Oh, it's locked in.
Spark out, yes, sir.
Here is your winner, EJ Sparks.
Step 1, spark out. Step 2, tap out. EJ victorious. More to come on Championship Wrestling.